Hello everyone and welcome to this bonus presentation for Spring 20 Release Readiness Live. I'm Danny Kitkoff and I'm here with the team from CPQ. They're here to share the latest and greatest with new features and enhancements for Spring 20. Now, since we may be covering the roadmap, we will be making some forward-looking statements. So please make your purchasing decisions based on the currently available functionality. So with that, why don't we do a quick round of introductions? We'll start with you, Christina.
Thanks, Danny. My name is Christina Javier, and I'm a quote-to-cash Salesforce CPQ and Billing Product Manager. I'm really looking forward to talking to you about enhancements we've made to the usage-based pricing feature, and looking forward to hear questions on how your business uses these enhancements.
My name is Pranav Pokhrel. I'm really excited to be here. I'm a Senior Product Manager for Salesforce CPQ and Billing, and I'm excited to talk to you about the revenue recognition API service that is coming out with Salesforce Billing in Spring 20.
Great, thank you guys. Well, let's go ahead and jump into some content. Christina, we'll start with you.
Sounds good. So we released a usage-based pricing feature in Spring 19. Now in Spring 20, we've added two major enhancements to this feature. First of all, we're giving more flexibility to our sales reps by allowing them to negotiate changes to the bounds of their consumption tiers, upper bound and lower bound, as well as the price. In addition, to enable your business to make the kind of deals that support you, we've enabled usage-based products to be sold with an evergreen contractual agreement, meaning the subscription continues until buyer or seller cancels. Now let's go into a demo so I can show you how this works. First of all, you have to make sure you're in the settings editor to enable these features. How you do that is you go search installed packages and hit manage on your Salesforce CPQ package. Then in the sales settings editor, you go to pricing and calculations and make sure enable usage-based pricing is checked, as well as enable manual edits for usage-based pricing. For evergreen, we want to go to the subscriptions and renewals tab and ensure that enable evergreen subscriptions is true. Now let's go to product setup. Here in product setup, I as a business admin want to set up a pay-as-you-go SMS pricing product. We need to ensure that this product is both set up as evergreen, so we go to our subscription types and make sure evergreen is selected. And then, this is something that will be important later, but I've set up this product to be billed monthly. Now, we want to make sure that this product is sold in a usage-based pricing capacity, so what we made sure we did is a product consumption schedule is attached to the product to record. Here I've set up a rate card describing monthly usages that we'll see more in our quote experience. Let's go to our quote line editor. Nothing has changed here, but if you've enabled usage-based pricing, you can view your consumption schedule by clicking on this icon. Here you can see the same UI that you saw before, but you have more capability as a sales rep. In this scenario, I want to change the upper bound limit for our megabytes from 200 to 250. And when they go up to 250 megabytes, they can get a price charged at 20 cents. Now I hit update so these changes are saved and we can go back to our quote. When we hit save, these changes are recorded on the back end, but one thing to note is if you set up systematic updates via the quote line quote calculator plugin, then those changes will override the manual edits. Now let's go and see how the order is generated. When we generate the order, one thing to notice is that in the related tabs, you'll see that we defaulted usage summary creation to 12 months. Because I selected monthly billing frequency, in this scenario, we have created 12 usage summaries to capture the 12 upcoming months. When the information comes in from December, we can see that our customers leverage this amount of data in December, and we can invoice for that amount. Here you'll see the invoice generated via our normal invoice run processes, and the customer is charged for the data that they used and nothing else. Thank you so much for watching this demo, and we're really excited to give this power to our sales reps and to your businesses to sell usage-based pricing.
Perfect, thank you, Christina. Tell me a little more about this feature that you demonstrated. Is that auto-enabled, or how do you go about that?
So one of the principles we have in the Salesforce CPQ product is that admins turn on features when they're ready to intake them. So we walked through the setup process earlier, but it's important to go into the settings editor and enable these features if you're looking to use them.
Okay, perfect. And is there any documentation around that our viewers can go look for?
Yeah, definitely. So we've updated the existing usage-based pricing feature help topics. And you can find these new enhancements as well as how to set them up at help.salesforce.com.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So we'll go ahead and jump to you, Pranav.
Thank you. Salesforce Billing Revenue Recognition API service now enables customers the flexibility to run revenue recognition from any point during the customer lifecycle using Salesforce objects like quotes, opportunities, contracts, orders, or invoices. Now you can forecast earned revenue or recognize revenue based on your own business needs. As an example, you can forecast earned revenue before quotes are approved so that you know how the earned revenue looks like and avoid any last-minute surprises, which then expedites your approval process. Salesforce Billing Revenue Recognition API service uses revenue recognition treatments, rules, and distribution methods to generate the revenue waterfall represented by a hierarchy of revenue transactions and revenue schedules within Salesforce. Let's take a look at the demo. Here, I've created a process using Salesforce Process Builder to call the revenue recognition service. Customers, admins, and developers also have the ability to call this revenue recognition service using triggers or REST APIs. In this process, I've defined the process to call the revenue recognition service with quote-related information like start date, end date, the net amount for the quote, and the revenue recognition rule when the quote moves to review. I have a quote already set up in draft. As you can see, the quote has a revenue recognition rule associated with it. I will go ahead and move the quote to review. And when I do this, then the quote is going to call that process that I already set up to call the revenue recognition service. As a result, if I go look at the quote-related list, I can see the revenue schedule is already generated. This revenue schedule represents that forecasted earned revenue for this quote. I can look into the details of the revenue schedule, and I see that the relevant information is already populated in the revenue schedule, including the revenue amount, the dates, as well as the source quote for this revenue schedule. Furthermore, based on the revenue distribution method, the revenue schedule is further distributed into multiple transactions. And I can go take a look at the transaction where the revenue amount on the schedule was divided up into $500 amounts for this revenue schedule. The revenue transaction is also associated with the revenue finance period so that all transactions are tracked within a given finance period. Similarly, I can also use the revenue recognition service to now recognize revenue from a contract. Here I have a contract that is in draft status. When I move this contract to activate it, it's going to follow a similar process where it is going to call that revenue recognition service with all the relevant information that I have preset using the process builder, and it is going to go ahead and generate a revenue schedule. And just like the forecasted revenue amounts from the quote, the recognized amount from the contract are all updated in this revenue schedule. With Salesforce CPQ and billing, you can now recognize revenue or forecast earned revenue from any point of the customer quote to cash lifecycle. Back to you, Danny.
All right, thank you for that demo. So with the revenue recognition reporting, is there a specific license you need, or is that all included?
So the revenue recognition API service is available with the CPQ and Billing Plus license, but the service itself is available by default if the license is enabled.
So what about this feature? Does it replace the existing Salesforce billing revenue recognition functionality from orders and invoices?
So the functionality I talked to you about today is in addition to the Salesforce billing revenue recognition functionality from orders and invoices that customers are already familiar with.
Okay, and then where can they find additional documentation about this?
We have lots of great documentation in the Salesforce developer site, developer.salesforce.com, and it's available through the release notes. So definitely go check out the release notes, and you can find the documentation from the release notes.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys. A lot of great things coming to CPQ. So thanks for joining us. So be sure to check out our other on-demand sessions in the community, and we will see you back here for Summer 20.